I started calling these women Kamalas. Anytime I see a woman who looks like just a total left-winger, I'm like, oh, that's a Kamala. Welcome back to the show. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get to the first topic. Trump signed an executive order finalizing the TikTok deal and saving TikTok. Go ahead, roll the clip.
Next, sir, we have an executive order on TikTok. From the first days of your administration, you've charged a team from your administration, led by Vice President Vance, with ensuring that we can preserve TikTok as a platform for the 170 million Americans who use it, while ensuring that their data is properly protected as required by law. With this executive order, you will be effectively bringing into effect the agreement that will save TikTok and ensure that it can operate safely and securely.
So this is interesting because I had a very good talk with President Xi. A lot of respect for him. Hopefully he has a lot of respect for me too. And we talked about TikTok and other things, but we talked about TikTok, and he gave us the go-ahead. You know, it's run by American investors and American companies, great ones, great investors, the biggest. You don't get bigger, I don't imagine. And maybe I'll have JD. JD was very much involved and in charge of it. And maybe I'll have you say a few words about the deal. He would report back, and the points of the deal, I think, are great for our country. So, JD, do you want to give it a little talk, please?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So thank you, sir, for your leadership and for your help. We really couldn't have done this without the president actually ushering this deal over the finish line. There was some resistance on the Chinese side, but the fundamental thing that we wanted to accomplish is that we wanted to keep TikTok operating, but we also wanted to make sure that we protected Americans' data privacy as required by law, both because it's the right thing to do, but also because it's a legal requirement of the law that was passed last year by Congress. So we think that we were able to do that. Of course, we're going to keep on working at it. But this deal really does mean that Americans can use TikTok, but actually use it with more confidence than they had in the past, because their data is going to be secure and it's not going to be used as a propaganda weapon against our fellow citizens. We're very excited about it. We appreciate the cooperation of everybody involved, and it's a big day.
And I think I can say that especially the young people, they really wanted this to happen. They did not want to have TikTok close. And I got a little used to TikTok. I used it myself during the campaign, and it was very successful because you know how I did with the young voter. And Charlie helped me a lot too. And he said to me, "You should go on TikTok." And it actually had, because we got record votes with the young voter, as you know, for the election. So I was a little bit prejudiced in that way toward TikTok. It was very good and very meaningful. But we have American investors taking it over, running it, highly sophisticated.
And now that Americans will have operational control, do you want to see the algorithm suggest more MAGA-related content prioritized?
I always like MAGA-related. If I could, I'd make it 100% MAGA-related. It's actually a good question, but I would, yeah, if I could make it 100% MAGA, I would, but it's not going to work out that way, unfortunately. No, everyone's going to be treated fairly. Every group, every philosophy, every policy will be treated very fairly. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody wants to talk about this TikTok algorithm, how it's so terrible. I don't really understand that. I don't get that, because whenever I post a video on TikTok, I probably get about 95% like positive comments back on my videos, which I don't really want that. I would prefer to get like 50-50, positive and people hating me. I mean, feel free to tell me I'm a moron. I don't care, because all the engagement is great, right? That produces more engagement. But like, as far as I'm concerned, the TikTok algorithm seems pretty good at just sending people stuff that they want to see, right? Now, isn't that what an algorithm is supposed to do? Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, but in China, they don't send the kids all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no shit, because in America, kids aren't going to use the app if they're being sent, math problems all day. Everybody's like, oh, in China, they're sending them school stuff and math problems. Yeah, that's not going to happen here in America, because the app would be dead in about 2 weeks because nobody would ever want to use it. So I don't get the problem with this whole algorithm issue. It's just doing what it's supposed to do. Now, if they're stealing our data, I get that. We don't need them stealing our data, and that just cannot be happening. But I mean, at this point, isn't every app basically stealing your data? Like, like every single time you say something, just you're talking to a friend, and the next thing you know, you go on Amazon and they want to sell you what you were talking about with your friend. It's it's just every app is basically listening to you and stealing your data. So I don't really see what the problem with TikTok was, you know, and Trump realized it's like, yeah, this is not a big issue. And frankly, if I let this get banned in America, I'm probably going to be blamed for it. So we got to do something about it. But yeah, I don't really see the big issue with TikTok. Hopefully Trump makes it more, or whoever's taking it over makes it fair and just more right down the middle, where it's not like super left-wing biased, where if you say anything, you're going to get a community guidelines violation. I mean, I've gotten so many community guidelines violations for just stupid crap that just like you'd think, why would that be a community guidelines violation? I'm basically just talking about something random and all of a sudden they want to like flag it as hateful behavior. You know, it's just something that would be so far away from hateful behavior somehow gets flagged as hateful behavior. It's just, they need to fix it so that it's not so heavily weighted to one side and everybody gets an opinion and everybody gets to talk. It needs to basically become like X. It needs the Elon treatment. But all right, let's get to the next topic here. Actress Cynthia Nixon has changed her tune on canceling Disney Plus and Hulu over the Jimmy Kimmel situation. Go ahead, roll the clip.
Did you watch Kimmel last night? I did. I laughed so hard. I was so happy to see him back. But unfortunately, 20% of Americans were not given the option to watch him. If you were in New Orleans, if you were in Salt Lake, St. Louis, DC, Nashville, you didn't get a chance. And that's the fault of Sinclair and Nexstar. So if you're in those markets, call those people up, complain, call their advertisers, or just, watch them on YouTube like 9 million people did last night. I, like so many people who in protest canceled their Disney and Hulu subscriptions, have signed back up. So do that too. Disney, Hulu, thank you for doing the right thing. The force is with you.
Oh, look at that. She wants you to go back and subscribe to Disney Plus and Hulu. Well, let's just take a look at her 5 days before that. Go ahead, roll the clip.
Hey, I just canceled my Disney Plus and Hulu subscriptions. And they asked me why. I hit other, and I wrote, because I believe in the First Amendment, reinstate Jimmy Kimmel. Now, my whole family is really going to miss Abbott Elementary. We are really going to miss Only Murders in the Building. But you know what? We would miss the First Amendment a whole lot more. Don't go to the theme parks. Don't go on the cruises. Cancel your subscriptions. Now.
These people are just so funny. Everybody who came out and, in support of Kimmel and Hollywood does not watch Kimmel at all. They haven't watched Kimmel's show in probably 10 years, if not ever, in the time it's been on. But they want to tell you how important Kimmel's show is and free speech and blah, blah, blah. And I just think it's hilarious, this whole narrative about how he got this huge rating the day he came back, and his first monologue, oh my God, the rating, he's 40 million views on YouTube or whatever. The guy's gonna, of course the guy got his one courtesy rating after he comes back and addresses the situation. Everybody wants to see, like, oh, what's Kimmel gonna say after the canceling? I guarantee you the guy's ratings are gonna normalize after a week. They're probably already completely back to normal, being terrible ratings where nobody wants to see it, because what are they tuning in for now? All of a sudden, after his canceling, he's going to be like way better and everything's just going to be like the greatest show ever. Like, you're going to want to hang on every Kimmel word now. No, the guy got his one courtesy rating. He got the Trump bump because they made it about Trump. It wasn't even about Trump. It was always about the terrible ratings, and they finally found a way to get rid of Kimmel, but they made it about Charlie Kirk. So then the left got outraged, and now they had to bring him back to appease the left, which I don't think they thought that was going to happen. I thought they probably just thought they were going to blame it on Trump, and that's what the left was going to do, and they could get out of the Kimmel business, but it backfired, and they brought him back. They bent the knee to the left, and Cynthia Nixon's happy, and everybody else on the left is happy, but ABC and Disney, they still got to deal with the Jimmy Kimmel problem of not getting ratings. But all right, let's get to the next topic here. Trump completely owned Jasmine Crockett and Ilhan Omar after being asked about Crockett at a press conference. Go ahead, roll the clip.
Crockett recently.
Jasmine Crockett. Remember what I said? Is she a relation to the late, great Davy Crockett? I don't think so. Jasmine Crockett, let me tell you, before you even ask, she's a very low IQ person. I mean, if we ever had to pass an aptitude test, that's the one should take one because she shouldn't even be in the crowd. So I have no idea what you're going to, but I don't think we should waste our time. This is a low IQ person who I can't even believe is a congressperson. Between her and Ilhan, Omar, and the group. You know, I met the head of Somalia. Did you know that? And I suggested that maybe he'd like to take her back, and he didn't want her. He said, "I don't want her." Okay, what else? Go ahead. Let's hear what Crockett said. Go ahead.
She compared ICE raids to slave patrol. I want to ask you.
To slave?
To slave patrol. I want to ask you if you think that there should be consequences for members of Congress who make these types of comparisons or use this
Yeah.
language.
Well, I think she's gone over the line.
I love how pretty much his whole cabinet was standing right behind him, and right when they mentioned Jasmine Crockett's name, everybody just starts busting up. Everybody knows the woman's a low IQ individual and is basically just terrible at everything she does, except for the left. The Democrats, like she's some sort of new rising star Democrat. And this Ilhan Omar woman, I mean, she has just got to be deported and have her citizenship revoked. I mean, the woman allegedly married her husband to get citizenship in America, which we can't be having that, especially for an elected official or whatever. But I don't know how these people come to be. You know, obviously she's a part of Little Mogadishu over there in Minneapolis, and Minneapolis is basically Somalia now. So that's how this woman got injected into the system. But yeah, it's just funny how politics basically went full DEI, because pretty much things were going well before Barack Obama, you know, and like real men were pretty much probably like, oh, I'm going to start building businesses and everything's going great. I don't need to get into politics anymore because everything's looking like it's good. And then Barack Obama comes and everything goes to DEI, and now like real men need to get back into politics. It's just like, these people that are in charge are just absolutely just hate America, number one. They hate America, and they're just not people who are cut out to do the job. But all right, let's get to the next topic here. Tim Walz's daughter, Hope Walz, apparently does not like Joe Rogan. Go ahead, roll the clip.
A litmus test for me and my friends for like years now has been if the guy we're talking to follows Joe Rogan on Instagram, they're a red flag, and we should probably stop talking to them. And the times when they do follow him on Instagram and we haven't stopped talking to them, which was in the past, obviously, it's never ended well. So yeah, I just want to say that I stand by that. It's literally never failed us. And at this point, it's like the first thing we do when someone starts talking to a new person. If they follow him, we're like, yeah, this person probably isn't a great person and probably our values don't align, so we're gonna move on from that. And honestly, it's worked out well for all of us. Like, obviously there's been some heartbreak in there because of it, or at least some disappointment, but it truly is a litmus test, and I got you, ladies. You should start doing it. But yeah, I very much stand by that. He's questionable and unprofessional in my opinion. Oops. I don't know how you have the largest podcast in the world and are able to just lie and put out misinformation and straight up lies on your platform.
It's funny how the left sees Joe Rogan as some sort of radical right-wing figure now, when the guy basically just calls it down the middle, you know. Sometimes he says some funny things that could be seen as controversial, but the guy is basically right down the middle. But they had him. He used to be a Democrat, so now they have to hate the guy, especially after he endorsed Trump. But yeah, I mean, if listening to Joe Rogan is some sort of red flag for liberal women, what is a red flag for a right-wing dude? You know, if you're looking at a woman, what is a red flag? Obviously, you know, the blue hair and the nose septum piercing. And from now on, whenever I see these women out in public, like the blue hairs and the septum piercings and just weird place tattoos all over their body, that's a sign too. The weird separate tattoos all over the body. Like, I get it if you get one big sleeve and you got a bunch of things on it, that's kind of like one tattoo. But it just seems like liberal women with nose piercings and, you know, blue hair, they always always have the separated tattoos all over that meant something to them, you know? And it's pathetic. But yeah, I started calling these women Kamalas. Anytime I see a woman who looks like just a total left-winger, I'm like, oh, that's a Kamala. Because you know these women voted for Kamala. So it's just an easy way for me to just immediately say, like, you can put a label on that person, radical left-winger who basically is an insane liberal. You just, oh, there's a Kamala. But yeah, so anytime you see these women out there and just, nobody cares about Hope Walz and what she thinks, you know, but, you know, just do your due diligence and make sure you're not finding some sort of crazy radical left-winger who's a Hope Walz and basically hates you if you listen to Joe Rogan or anything that's just, you know, good or decent and not just crap, left-wing crap. But yeah, that's it for today. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll be seeing you.